Hi guys, Darth Deuces here, back on the Star with the Black Series action figure review. Today, taking a look at a new release, hot fresh from the Ahsoka series. We've got Sabine as she appears in the Ahsoka series for the majority of it anyways. Yeah, very much looking forward to getting this figure in hand. Really big fan of the show. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. You know, every show has its ups and downs, but for the most part, I really liked it a lot. And I thought Sabine was portrayed pretty well in the show. So yeah, happy to have a figure to showcase her live action debut. Figure itself is pretty solid figure actually. It's quite nice, but I do have some issues with it, and we'll get into those. But I guess first off, just taking a closer look at the figure and a close look at that head sculpt and face print, I think it looks pretty good. I was kind of iffy on it from promotional shots. I wasn't sure about the likeness, but I think it looks quite good. I think the face print and the face sculpt looks pretty dead on, or pretty close anyways. The face printing, I think, is pretty well applied. It doesn't look like it's too far off or anything. The eyes look really nice. The lips look good. Yeah, it looks quite nice. I like it a lot. The hair is good too. It's painted purple, but it does have like a black wash painted into it to bring out the details of the hair sculpt, which I think looks really nice. So that's very cool. They don't usually do that with hair sculpts and the paints for the hair these days. So that's nice to see. This figure actually does have quite a bit of paint. You do have the armor, Mandalorian armor, that's all painted with all these different lines and details that I think look really good. They are cleanly painted for the most part. And then the little shoulder or collar area in the back here, I think looks pretty nice with all those details. You got this nice bright blue with whatever this emblem is supposed to be. And then on the other side, you've got the Rebel Alliance insignia, which looks really clean as well. And I just do like all the colors. Very interesting figure to look at. The gauntlets look good with some nice sculpted detail, and you have this really interesting pattern on either side, on the bottom and the top of the gauntlets that I think look really nice. That I never really noticed in the show. So that's cool, little feature. The gauntlets have different sculpted details. They have some different gadgets on them, so that's cool. This one has a little bit of paint detailing on it. The belt looks nice. Belt could have done with a black wash to make it look a little more like real leather, but it's rare to get that these days on Black Series figures, so it's not too bad. But you do have some painted silver buckles, which look good. The pants, pretty basic. We do have some nice sculpted detail of those of the clothing that she's wearing. You do have the knee guards there, which are sculpted and painted pretty well. And there actually is a sculpted strap, although it's not painted, so it kind of gets lost in the sculpt there of the pants, but it is there, so that's kind of cool. And then the shin guards and the boots, I think, look pretty nice as well, with some nice dark burgundy, and then the lighter orange, I think, looks real good. So yeah, not too much else to say. Paint wise, they put quite a bit of paint in this. It looks pretty good. I think the sculpt's there. I think the proportions are there and all that. It looks pretty accurate to actually appear in the show, so I'm pretty happy with it. I will say maybe that on the hands, I think they're cast in black and then they painted the skin tone. And I would say the skin tone of the hands maybe very slightly doesn't match the skin tone of the head, but it's really hard to tell. And you really can't even tell on camera, so it's not really that big of a deal. Articulation wise, you do have the dumbbell joint at the base of the head as well as the base and neck, so she can look up a bit, not too much honestly. Looks down an okay amount. Pivots a lot though. The pivot's pretty good in rotation. And you have shoulder joints. They move pretty far out. I think there's a butterfly joint in there, but you're not getting much movement out of that. Single hinges at the elbows that move a little past 90, which is good. And then both wrists have swivel, and then up and down vertical hinges, which is good to see for a dual pistol wielding character and a lightsaber wielding character. Torso joint goes back a bit, goes forward a little bit, and then pivots and then rotates. This upper armor piece is actually a overlay on top of a torso, so it does allow for a little bit of flex there. Hip joints, they kick out pretty close to all the way that you want. They go back a little bit. Full splits really, so that's quite good. And then there's the new style kind of hip joint where there's a deeper circular cut, so you don't have the sole cut, but instead you have the rotating there, which I think works perfectly fine. Single hinges at the knees go slightly past 90. Hinges at the ankles actually go up a fair bit, or more than I would expect for a boot character with bulky boots like this, and then down a lot, although the joints is a little ugly, and then rocker for ankle pivot. So lots of really great articulation here. You should be able to get pretty much all the poses for the most part you want to get out of this character, so that's good. In terms of accessories, she comes with a decent amount of stuff for a single release. I guess right off the bat, probably my biggest complaint is the helmet. So of course she does come with her helmet. She didn't actually wear it a whole lot in the show, honestly. But the sculpt, it looks nice, and there's quite a bit of paint applied to it for all the detailing, which looks good. And it does have the moving rangefinder, but it is too small for the head. Just putting it on normally, it doesn't even cover the full, goes all the way down on her head. The only way to make it look kind of correct is to kind of angle the helmet forward to cover the front of the face, and then it kind of looks okay in some angles, but it definitely looks off and shouldn't show that much of the back of her head. From the back, it looks really goofy. Now, I don't think this is an issue with every figure. I've seen some reviews, and I've even seen some other Sabine figures on pegs at stores and whatever, where the helmet doesn't look as misshapen. So my helmet, you can kind of tell the top of it looks a lot flat and like squished down almost. And I've seen other figures in stores on the pegs that look like they have a much more normal shaping helmet. So I think this is only an issue with some figures, which is really weird. I don't know how that happened. I tried to give this some heat and tried to change the shape, but I just couldn't get, I need the top of the helmet to kind of pop out a bit, and I just can't get it to do it. So luckily, I don't think I was really going to bother. I was really going to plan on displaying her with the helmet on anyways, because I do want to display the nice face printed head sculpt, and I have the Rebel Sabine to display with her helmet on. So, but regardless, the helmet should fit on the figure. I think it's funny that the vintage collection, the helmet is too big, and on this one it's too small, or depending if you get a defective one, it's too small. A bit unfortunate. So if you're ordering online, I would be wary of that, I guess. And if you're looking at figures in store and you got multiple to choose from, take a look at the helmets before you buy. Despite the helmet, she does come with her two Mandalorian pistols, of course. They do have some nice paint on them. They have silver, glossy black for the grip, and each has, this one has yellow paint, this one's like this bluish, grayish bluish paint. So these look really nice, nicely painted. You know, you can hold them, no problem. The figures, or not figure, the figures' hands, they're both have trigger fingers, which is good, because you know how Hasbro likes to give their characters with dual pistols only one trigger hand, but in this case, she does have two trigger fingers, although she doesn't really need them because these pistols don't really have proper trigger guards, but they do fit in the hand really nicely. She looks pretty good wielding them, so I am happy with that. That looks real good. You can store them in the holster as well, of course. The pistols, I think, are the only reuse of this entire figure. I'm pretty sure they're the same sculpt as, I could be wrong, pretty sure they're the same sculpt as the Bo-Katan. The pistols come with Bo-Katan, Koska Reeves, and all those other Mandalorians. I guess I could be wrong. They might be different. I didn't check, but they look the same. And then lastly, of course, she does come with her lightsaber, I guess. It's, you know, Ezra's, but he gave it to her, so it's hers now, I suppose. Nice lightsaber. The hilt is nicely sculpted. It's got some decent paint. You got black and then silver. And then a nice vibrant green blade that looks really nice. You can take the blade out, of course, and you can actually, the little hook there, you can hook it onto her belt. It goes on there pretty secure, pretty nicely, pretty securely. It looks pretty nice. I like that. Looks good. But I will probably have her displayed holding it, because I feel like that's half the point of this version of the character. Give her a lightsaber, and there you go. You've got your Mandalorian Jedi person, and the lightsaber looks really good. I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's pretty much all there is to talk about with this figure. I guess the last thing I'll do is do some quick comparisons. Here she is with the Star Wars Rebels Sabine from a few years ago, or a number of years ago now. Like, this is maybe going on like a 7-year-old figure, which is kind of crazy. I still really like this figure. It's really good. has aged pretty well. This is the original release, not the re-release with the face printing. But they stand about the same height. I think the Rebels one is a little taller, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because it's her when she was younger. But it's not a big deal. You can take the helmet off. I remember this one being pretty tight fit. Yeah, and then you can kind of see the faces there. I think the casting on the new on the live action Sabine is really good. Obviously, you don't get a really good sense of that here because this is the painted face. And back when this first came out, it wasn't terrible for the standard they were giving back in the day. But now it's like I haven't looked at this figure in a while. Yeah, these eyes are kind of, yeah, helmets. The helmet's going back on. That's for sure. But that's why I didn't bother. I didn't feel like it was worth getting the re-release just to have the face print. I was going to display her with the helmet on, so that's nice. And then here she is with her master. Here's Ahsoka. This is the Mandalorian release, but as far as I know, the Ahsoka that's going to be in the same wave as Sabine here is just a reissue, so it should be the same figure. Maybe some minor paint differences, but they look good together. Unfortunately, don't have Ezra yet. I don't know why it is, but in Canada, with Amazon and GameStop, with Black Series waves, for some reason, they stagger the releases of waves. Like Ahsoka and a Sabine from that wave released, but then the other 3 or 4 figures aren't releasing until like the middle of October or like the end of the month or something. It doesn't really make any sense why they don't release on the same day. But my pre-order for Ezra's with Amazon. He's not supposed to come out till November, so I won't have a review of him for a little bit, but I'm definitely looking forward to kind of pairing them up together. But yeah, overall that's pretty much it. I think this is a really good figure. I do think if you're gonna pick this up in store, just make sure, or if you can, try to check the helmets and make sure you get a good one. It is pretty disappointing that some figures have this issue because I like it when all my accessories function as they should when I get a figure. But the articulation's good, the figure looks great, the accessories otherwise are good. I think this is a really solid release from this year. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. May the Force be with you.